Namaste. Welcome to Satsang. Welcome to new faces and old faces. So Satsang is for there's one here and there's one there if you need it. So Satsang is for the direct realization of what we are, the direct experience of what we are, rather than just a momentary experience of peace, or rather than just a momentary experience of joy. We're here to really find out the deepest sense of the word, beyond thoughts, beyond experiences, beyond a sense of a fleeting glimpse of what we are. Because it is possible to live completely from that deeper sense of self, from that sense for the body and mind, and from that place which is unaffected by any thoughts in particular. So Satsang is for that, and as such it's completely unique in the human kingdom. Not this Satsang, but Satsang in general. Everything else really is for your body and for your mind. Everything else that we experience in the human kingdom is really to educate our body and our mind and our body. Satsang is for those that really want to wake up to what is beyond the body and mind, to have a direct experience of that, and to come to live and know that you are that completely. So it's not really anything we're going to learn tonight. It's not really anything we're going to understand. It's more of a seeing. It's more of a knowing. Because the truth is that you're not really anything that you think you are. Really, all of our thoughts about ourselves are really relating usually to our mind, to our body. The things we like, the things we don't like, the things we want, our goals, our dreams, our desires. Even our purpose in life is really aimed at our body and our mind. And there's nothing wrong with any of these things. But if you are ready to go beyond that, to see that there's something eternal about you, something that is ever present, something that's never changed, and most importantly, something that was here before your body arrived, and it's going to be here after your body has come to an end. That's worthwhile finding, isn't it? That's worthwhile putting that time in to really see that aspect of yourself, to really come to understand that part of you which is beyond time and space, that part of you that is immune to any suffering, immune to the mind's arguments and persuasions and its opinions. And that self that you really are, its essence is peace, its essence is love and joy. To come to know that means to live in peace and joy and love. Not just some of the time, but all of the time. Our natural state is one of abundance and effortless joy. If that's really the truth, the deepest aspect of our being, then why are we not living from that place? Why are most of us suffering from our mind? Why are most of us suffering negative emotions, feeling? If it's really what we are and our deepest essence is this undivided, formless self, this reality, then why are we not living from that place of joy? What's obscuring it? And more importantly, I think, what have some people done to reveal that self? You know, we get right down to the nitty-gritty of awakening. What is it that some people have done and found that peace that perhaps hasn't become obvious as yet? So that's really what I want to talk about tonight. I won't talk for very long. I'll leave some time for questions. But I'd like you to imagine that every thought that you deeply believe, you're going to experience. So perhaps the very first thought that went through your mind in this body that you're in now was that perhaps something like, I am this body, or this is me, this is what I am. And there's nothing wrong with thoughts in particular, but if we come to believe those thoughts, if we give them a lot of validity, a lot of time, a lot of understanding, a lot of attention, then we'll have that experience of being a limited and separate being. And for a while, that's fine for most of us. For a while, it was for myself. But after a time, there was this itch inside me, this hole, this itch I couldn't scratch, or this hole inside me that just, no matter what happened in the world for me, it just never seemed to fill. And I didn't even know that I was looking for this self, you know, until I found it. Didn't know what I was looking for. I knew it wasn't in my family. I knew it wasn't in my business. I knew it wasn't in my, certainly wasn't in my finances at the time. And so if we can look at these thoughts that we're believing that's obscuring this piece, how do you know what thoughts you're believing? Well, contrary to most popular school of thought, we don't believe something because we experience it. We experience it because we believe it. So if we deeply believe as human beings that we're never going to find peace, then we'll experience a complete lack of peace. If we believe that we're not good enough to find that joy within ourselves, not worthy of it, then we'll never quite reach it. We'll always be trying to get there, never quite achieving. If we believe that we want self-respect and love and acceptance, we're never going to actually get it. We'll always be chasing it. So when you start to understand this, you can see that every thought that you're really believing is like a magic wand. You know, whatever I believe about myself, I'm going to immediately and totally experience. And the same for you. Because you are this self, you are the one being, experiencing itself as a human being. And in each body, each mind, it thinks it's a separate being alone, moving through time and space. So what's going on in your life right now will tell you exactly what you're believing. If you can't seem to live as this piece, then there must be either a belief that you can't find it, or that you're not worthy of it, or that it's difficult to live with this. And Satsang is a place where we can come to question these thoughts, these beliefs that most human beings have, that life is just kind of one long experience of my life, and I just have to, you know, try to get through it the best I can, gather up as much as I can, feel as good as I can, and then at the end of it all, it's gone. What if that isn't true? You know, what if the truth is that you're already completely beyond your mind and body, already completely the essence of peace? You are that light that radiates out into the world. Every thought we believe is like a dimmer switch turning down that light. So much so that the first thought being, you know, I am this body. And other thoughts begin to pile on. I'm a human being, I'm a man or a woman, I like this, I like that, this is my job, this is who I am, this is what music, all this stuff goes added onto this basic thought that I am this body and this mind only. You are those too. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your life and having a good life. The best way to do that is to find out exactly what you are first. And if you want the quick way out of suffering, it's to be willing to question all thoughts. What if you're not actually only a human being? What if you aren't really a man or a woman? You have a body and you have a mind, your thoughts going on, but what if that isn't really what you are? And even if you've seen what you are you still believing that you can't seem to stay as that, or you can't seem to live as that? Are you deeply convinced that you can't find peace? You know? All these are magic wands that are going to dictate your experience. If you can come to see that whatever we're believing, we'll experience in our mind and body. Whatever I believe about myself, my mind and body have to live, have to play that out. So what if you just weren't so sure about anything for a moment at all? What if you just decided just for a moment not to know anything about yourself? What if you decided that even if thoughts are there in your mind right now in this moment, you're not going to hold on to them tightly. You're not going to give them a lot of belief. You're going to empty yourself out. Mind can still be talking. What does it mean to empty yourself? It means just not to hold anything tightly. Your body is there, thoughts are there, there might be emotions or sensations going on right now in your body. But what about you? What are you? Most of us have never really investigated what we actually are. We've just assumed that we are what we can see, what we can think, what we can feel. But there's something so much deeper about you. And if you don't know at all what you are, don't hold any thought tightly. You might begin to experience this openness, a sense of peace, a sense of quietness inside. The thoughts are still there. You can still use your mind. You can still access your mind. You can still feel and experience through this body. But don't be so sure of anything about yourself. Just for a moment, let go of believing anything about yourself. Like when you were a child, remember when you were a youngster, you didn't really know anything, you didn't assume anything. Life was one endless adventure of finding things out, wasn't it? It was. What are the things that we're most sure about? That we're least willing to let go of these beliefs? Well, it's usually that we're not already peaceful, that we're not already awake, that we're not already enlightened. Most people say that they're not feeling peace right now, so they're obviously not awake. If we question that one thought, do I even have to look for peace and silence and joy? Do I even have to go inside and find it? Is it not already here? The moment we ask a question and open this like that, we're setting down all of the beliefs in that moment. Because if we're sure we're awake and we're enlightened, we'll have to experience being unenlightened and suffering again. If we're sure we're not enlightened yet, not awake, we'll have to experience periods of peace and joy and bliss, and then it will go again, coming and going. And in a moment of crisis, usually when life has made us turn right and we really wanted to go left, those moments were open. Those are the moments when we put down all of our beliefs, just for a moment. And you don't know anything about anything. A kind of forgetting. But we can also come to that through choice in this moment by setting aside everything we think is true. So I'd urge you to experience this right now, to just not know anything for a moment. To go against the human tide where we're kind of taught that life is an endless accumulation of knowledge. Things I know about myself, things I know about the world, things I know about everyone else. If you'll just leave that alone for a moment and make a space inside yourself, there'll be a peace, a contentment that begins to present itself. A kind of silence that perhaps has been covered up by these thoughts until now. And all you have to do is fall in love with that, with not knowing, with being empty of concepts. You'll still be able to use concepts. You'll still be able to use the mind, but it won't be using you. It won't be leading you down the road. Have you ever seen some people taking their dog for a walk, and it's got obviously the opposite, the dog's taking them for a walk, you know? It's kind of how it is with our mind, isn't it? Most of us. So I'd invite you into this sweetness of not knowing anything, not be sure about anything. From mind's perspective, this is scary as hell, because mind is knowledge, isn't it? It is what I think I know, or my goodie bag of concepts. But awakening or enlightenment is really a forgetting of everything I thought I knew about myself. Everything. And each concept that you forget, each one that you're not willing to grasp in this moment, will reveal another layer, a deeper layer of your being that's peaceful already, inherently peaceful, already complete, already total. Can you, for a moment, just let go of this idea that you're a human being sitting in this room or listening to this, watching this? Can you let go of the idea that you need to find peace, even though that's what seems to be happening? Can you let go of the idea that there's somewhere for you to get? Or that awakened beings have figured out something that you haven't, you know? Maybe they're just better at forgetting, you know, than most of us. Because when I experienced this for the first time, I began to fall in love with forgetting everything, you know, just completely empty. Not having to carry all my ideas around like a, you know, big suitcase full of my junk thoughts, you know, that I really ought to declutter and go sort through, but, you know, one day. And if you're anything like I was, I'd keep all these thoughts just in case I needed them, you know. There is such a joy and a peace in not knowing anything, being totally blank, vacant, just for a second, or a moment, or a lifetime. And the more you do this, the easier it is to just completely stay open, the less you'll want to close up. It's kind of like being asleep while you're awake, you know. At night time, there's no thinking going on, is there? In deep sleep, at least. There's no experiencing going on either. There's no memory of events because there's no thinkingness going on. So even though your eyes are open and you're moving around and you're talking and you're driving, you can be almost as if you're asleep inside. You've forgotten everything. Someone here is going to forget everything in this moment and feel that peace, maybe for the first time. Just for this moment, not trying to get anywhere, not trying to become something, and certainly not trying to find peace. And it will present itself. Such a simple thing as forgetting. All of our knowledge about ourselves, about what we do, what we want, all of that is great for your life, your work, your family, everything. Nothing wrong with it. But you don't need to carry it all around. You don't need to stuff all these concepts in your pockets just in case, you know. Most especially all the concepts, all the ideas you have about your pathway to enlightenment, to awakening. Those are the ones that we especially need to drop. What if you didn't know anything? As if this was your first satsang and you've never even heard the word awakening or anything at all. If somebody just pulled you off the street and said, listen to this, and you didn't have a clue what I was talking about, there'd be peace. It's quite often why somebody new to satsang will get it very, very quickly. Somebody sat there listening going, I know all about this, I know what she's talking about. They've probably never experienced the deepest peace. So your peace is directly proportional to the amount of forgetting that's happened inside you. Especially forgetting the thing you need to do or become or reach or some goal before you can find peace, you know, some finish line. That you haven't understood something properly, or you haven't gone deep enough for, that you're not ready yet, or it's the wrong lifetime, or you've got the wrong trousers on or something, you know. Are you willing in this moment to set aside all of those excuses, all of those reasons why you can't feel peace right now in this moment? If you try it and you don't like it, you can pick them all up again and shove them back in your pockets afterwards. Promise. An awakening isn't really a stage where we know everything. It's a stage where we know nothing at all, you know. So used to forgetting that you've forgotten how to pick up concepts and hold them tightly, how to believe any thought in the end. It's the simplest experience a human being can have, and it's also the most profound. And it really is available right now in this moment, if we can let go of these ideas. Okay. I'd like to invite, if there's any questions or anybody would like some help to experience that peace, to come and, or to raise your hand and to come and ask. Yeah. She's got a list.
Okay. So.
You mean business tonight?
I always.
Excuse me.
Right, okay. So, November. November is a concept. I know that. However, I find it extremely difficult. And I would like this November to be the last difficult November.
Okay.
There are lots and lots of triggers, lots of dates, lots of trauma attached to November.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I feel like I'm working through the feelings, the emotions. I've been on a roller coaster. I think I felt every emotion there is so far this month. And I've been looking at it and sitting with it and letting it go through and trying not to hold on to any of it. But mind, ego, thoughts are arising, and what's sticking is a feeling that I'm not allowed to have peace because of November. And that my life is service because of the things that have happened in November.
Your life is what, sir?
Service. So I have to sort of atone.
Right.
And that's all well and good. My life is service. I understand that. I feel it. I totally embrace it. And I know silence is always there underneath all of what I've been going through this month. But how do I quiet the mind and the ego sort of apparent resentment that I'm feeling?
I wouldn't even try to quiet your mind if I were you.
Okay.
I would just give that up. Can you just stop it completely in this moment? Not your mind, just stop any effort to change anything. Just experiment with me a little while.
Yeah, there is a bit of resistance.
Yeah, just let the resistance be there completely. Just the same as your mind. Just let the thoughts be there, whatever it is that's coming up. Just completely let it be, as if it was just as valid, that resistance, as you are, just as every right to be there as you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What else is there? Thoughts, emotions.
It's that feeling battered.
Okay. So just let that feeling be too. I want you to just leave everything be.
Okay.
As if you were just kind of, all right, fine, I give up.
Yeah. There's nowhere else for it to go once I've given up.
What do you mean by there's nowhere else for it to go?
It can't. Well, it's already beat me into the floor. I can't go any further.
So if you just let it all be there, November, it's here, it's what it is. Whatever is happening inside you is happening. And we're making no attempt to change that at all. Even though mind may have a very different opinion of how to feel better. Even if there's a resistance to just allowing everything in this moment. Just let that be too. What else is coming up?
Memories.
Yeah. Just let them come up. You're just going to watch everything.
Yeah. It's like a video.
Yeah.
There's about 5 or 6 different videos.
Well, just let them all play.
Yeah.
Anything else coming up?
Sadness.
Yep.
Joy as well.
Anything else? Doing really, really good here.
Heaviness.
Yeah.
Heavy heart.
And what else is there in your experience? Just allowing everything else, even if your consciousness seems really cluttered right now, just let it be there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter for this moment, just anything else you're experiencing.
I feel supported.
Yeah. You're very supported by everyone in this room and watching online. So
Yeah.
anything else? Take your time, just.
There is peace, it's underlying.
Yeah.
And there's silence, there's always silence underlying.
Yeah.
But the resistance is like, it's like I've got a stone and a jelly, if that makes sense.
A stone and a
my
jelly.
chest. So it's like really heavy, but it's wobbly.
Okay, so what if you didn't choose anything? What if you didn't prefer the peace over the jelly, the stone, the wobbly?
Yeah. It loses its power.
So all I'm asking you to do is to accept that there's all these things present within you,
Yeah.
including peace and silence.
Yeah.
And for this moment, not to prefer peace.
Okay.
Just to let everything, even peace, just be. Even the heavy feeling in your heart.
Emotion.
Yeah, let everything be there. So normally what we do in this moment is we'd say, I need this peace, I want this peace, and I want everything else to go.
Yeah.
So how do you feel when you don't do that? When you're just looking at all these answers, all these things coming up inside you, what you're actually experiencing right now. You're not preferring, you're also not labeling, one's good, one's bad.
Yeah.
One's really good and one's really bad.
Yeah. I feel free.
You feel free. And if anything came up inside you now, you could just add it to this soup of things that's going on inside you.
Yeah.
Another ingredient going in there.
Yeah.
So you should be noticing by now that when you just don't prefer peace, peace begins to come to the forefront.
Yeah.
And you can begin to see that hopefully it's your preferring, taking a side, taking a standpoint that peace is good and jelly is bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That is actually causing you to suffer, not the actual November or all the other things.
No.
That you're big enough inside to have room for all of that to arise.
Yeah. It's the wanting to get rid of November that's the issue.
So just let that be there too. Almost as if you didn't have any power anymore to say something shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Can you get a sense of it?
Okay.
Even peace and silence, even if there was joy and bliss right now, not to even prefer that, just to acknowledge, yep, that's there, that's there, that's there.
And it's not going to cover up what's underneath.
It's not going to cover up, no.
It's not going to cover it up.
What does cover up the peace then? Because you can tell me now from this experience you're having.
The resistance.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or is it trying to get rid of something?
It's how I could describe it is it's like being in the middle of those things like tornadoes that are under the sea.
Yeah.
And holding on to
I can't think of the word. Yeah.
Is it a maelstrom? Something like that.
Something like that.
And I'm holding on to this rock of November and it's dragging me down to the bottom, and all I need to do is let go of the rock and then I'll pop back up.
So if you can let go.
Yeah. We really don't want to let go.
Some part of you can sink down with the rock.
Yeah.
And you're just going to watch. You're not going to say, I've got to let go, I've got to stop sinking. You're just going to watch everything that's there. Just acknowledge everything that's there.
The rock's getting smaller.
Smaller? How do you do that?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm feeling real energy in my sort of arms.
So all we're doing is we're just not taking a stand on anything that's arising. We're not preferring peace. Even though mind says, quick, grab the peace, quick, get rid of the other stuff.
Yeah.
That it's actually that having a standpoint forming an opinion about what's there. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. That's what's really causing the suffering. And can you see?
Yeah.
That the true self that you are hasn't got any ability to reject anything.
No.
Even the rock, the heavy feeling, the sadness. It's kind of just allowing all of that to be.
Yeah.
What's going on there now?
There's a bit of understanding that the work that I've done so far has taken me to a certain point, and understanding that everything's as it should be right here, right now.
And how does that make you feel?
Calmer, peaceful, accepting.
So do you still need to get rid of November?
No, I don't. I know I don't.
And can you see that this is a kind of a skill that we're not inherently taught? It's something we have to sort of practice and learn. That when something comes up that our mind would say is really, really bad, we want to get rid of it. And then we feel that peace, want to keep a hold of that one. It's actually that.
Yeah, it's like I'm stuffing Daffy back down, but that's resistance, isn't it?
Daffy being the ego.
Daffy being the ego, right. Yeah.
Think of your ego as this, doing this, and that's really all it is. It's pushing one thing away that's bad, it says, and it's trying to grab a hold of one thing that's good, silence and peace. So even if that's going on inside, you can just let that be as well, okay? Something wants to, no, this isn't going to work. This is not going to. You just prove to yourself you can do that. You can just watch. Even the resistance